Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning, and we made it, folks. It's Friday. It's Vanderbilt week. It's Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We got a good show. We got JC, who is traveling, sitting at an airport somewhere in America. And then we will have Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun, who will give us a little recap of tonight's game, Gator basketball against the Semis in Tallahassee. If you missed it last night, the Titans continue to win, defeat the Packers 27-17, and that's about it. We're coming to you from Broadway Street in Nashville, Tennessee. I almost said Bill Street, but that would be in Memphis. JC, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Ready for some cold weather, some football weather, as you like to call it there, QB.
I don't call it football weather. I think it's dumb.
Well, it's going to be damn cold where I'm going, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. They moved this game from 8 o'clock at night to 4:30, which makes me feel good. And they actually moved the game in Buffalo to Detroit because of the 1 to 3 foot snow expectations in Buffalo, New York. And I can't remember when they've ever done that before, because usually they just play through it in Buffalo and places like that. But they're moving the game to Detroit for the Cleveland Bills
They've done it one other time for Buffalo.
Okay.
The reason they're moving it for safety conditions, hazards for fans and things of that nature and travel. So, it kind of stinks because you'd love to see a game like that, but it ain't going to happen. They're going to be inside where it's going to be about 72 degrees and go from there. So
I just don't remember them ever doing that before. I guess what I'm saying is that, I've seen snowy football before, and they just shoved it off to the sides. I've seen teams play in the foot of snow. They just prepared the field, but I guess it's going to be worse than just snow. It's going to be some hazardous traveling conditions. So they're getting the hell out of there. I don't blame them. Fans, too bad they lose a home game, but at any rate, I'm going to Pittsburgh. It won't be snowing, but it'll be 20 degrees, so I'll have to drink some Iron City beer to warm up.
You'll have to drink a lot, my friend. Ryan on the Titan Mark text line says, "Happy Friday, gents." Shane, I tuned in last night just long enough to see the Packers in their all whites. Add in that traditional G, and the unis were about the only thing that looked good about Green Bay last night. I knew you'd be digging them. Yeah, that's a pretty good look the Packers had on last night. I love that.
I wish I could have watched it, but I'm not going to go subscribe to Amazon Prime.
I thought you had it, JC. Why do you not have it?
I had it at home, but I was over at the beach because we had to go to Jacksonville Airport. So I wasn't going to. I think it's my kids got the subscription. I wasn't going to bother him with all the info. I didn't care enough to watch that game. But Green Bay's not a playoff team. They won't make the playoffs. And Tennessee's kind of a sleepy team. They don't really excite you that much, but they're very good. They're 7-3, so they'll be a playoff team.
Yeah. Another text here on an anonymous texter says, "Shane, what time are you headed to Nashville today?" I need to look at our itinerary to see what time the team plane leaves. I want to say it's probably around 3 or 3:30 usually.
Yeah. Beautiful day, and it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Beautiful weekend in Nashville. It's going to be great in Nashville.
Yeah. Mark says from West Palm, "Can you send me a link to where you sell the hoodie?" Mark, send us an email on the Pod Up. Send us an email. I had a ton of people asking about the hoodies yesterday, so we're having to order more. We're out of hoodies. We got some different sizes, different colors, but send us an email. We'll send you pictures of what we have. All right, JC. Joseph says the Thursday games are never very good, especially for fantasy football purposes. No more Thursday nights. They're going to always play Thursday night football. It stinks for the college game. The college game was a blowout too. Tulane rolled. So I All right, Scott's got a question here before we move on. Do y'all think Brian Kelly is Jim McElwain 2015? In other words, getting to the SEC championship game his first year in a weak division with a mediocre team. He's calling the SEC West mediocre, JC.
Yeah, that's funny, and maybe it is, and relative to what they are presenting in the East with Tennessee and Georgia. But the way I look at it is, Brian Kelly. The difference is his quarterback's playing a little better than what Treon Harris gave us. So I don't know about that comparison. I'm not big on that comparison, but I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think LSU is that great of a team, but I think Brian Kelly seems to get the most out. I mean, look at what he did at Notre Dame with very
he's won everywhere he's been.
Yeah, everywhere he's been.
He won at Cincinnati. He won at whatever that FCS school he was at. He won there as well. So
well, I mean,
he's a good coach.
He's going to win 10 games, and the way they started, it didn't look that way. So they're going to win 10 games. They won the West, and then they're going to go get the privilege of getting run over by Georgia. I mean, great, but I think he's going to be fine over there. I know this. They like him because he beat Alabama, and he went for it when they beat Alabama. I think they would have liked it if they didn't.
But they'd be dog cussing him right now if they would have lost that game on that 2-point conversion.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, instead of kicking the extra point. QB, I'm sitting here thinking about Vanderbilt in Florida, and I'm just thinking about how much money Vanderbilt University has stolen from the SEC with the pathetic football program they have there for so long. And I'm glad they beat Kentucky last week, but I'm having a hard time thinking about why Vanderbilt is even on the schedule. Let me put it to you this way. If Vanderbilt wasn't an old charter member of this conference, it's not like they would be invited in. They just got very, very lucky. They got very lucky to even be in this conference, and they've done very little to support it. They're just one of those taker schools. I call them a taker. They just take. And they give us a little baseball, great, but they never did before Corbin came. So, I mean, the whole school to me is just one of the I don't know. I've just never been a big Vanderbilt guy. I just think all they do is take the money and throw it away. And I don't know. Maybe
I don't think they throw it away. They build like hospitals and stuff up there for their med schools. I don't know what they do with it. Off the back of television revenue that's created by Georgia and Alabama and Florida, and LSU. That's they're takers. So maybe they'll compete. They did win last week. Maybe this coach will win 5-6 games, on a consistent basis. Maybe not, but I don't know. No chance. No chance of that. Are you in the market to buy or sell a home? Doreen Weeby, a realtor with Caldwell Banker M. Parish, will provide you with fast, friendly, reliable service. Call her today at 352-562-1411 to help your dreams come true. We're with JC. He's coming to us from a airport location around the country. And then we'll have Kevin Brockway before he heads out to Nashville. Well, he may be going to Tallahassee first. I don't know if I doubt he can make that trip. The only person doing that is Sean Kelly. Sean's got to call the game, get on the school plane, and then fly to probably gets to Nashville about 2 or 3 in the morning, and then get up real early and call a football game. So Scott says we need to trade Vandy for FSU or Clemson.
Yeah. Well, it would make the conference a lot more difficult, but I'm with you. I mean, Vanderbilt is just, like I said, they're a taker. They'll have 12,000 fans there. Florida will have about 10. You'll have about 25,000 fans for an 11 a.m. game. Nobody in Nashville will even know the game's going on off campus. So, I mean, again, they're just, they just exist. And somehow they lucked up getting in the SEC.
JC, before we get to our Peachland Dental picks of the week, I get on Twitter this morning because I get on here to try to find out, because I go to bed. I don't stay up late watching stuff. So go to bed kind of early. What the hell's going on with Twitter? Is Twitter shutting down?
Not that I'm aware of. Why would what made you say that?
Everybody on here says, let me read some of these about Twitter. If this is my last tweet for Twitter, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what's going on with Twitter.
All right.
Says, if this is it for Twitter, let me just say this. It's been real. All these different people. Everybody that I follow. Like Peter Burns says, Twitter was my favorite sports bar. blah, blah, blah. It was fun. I mean, what's going on with Twitter? Maybe our listeners know. Rick says
Well,
Elon Musk is firing everyone. Well, why would that shut down Twitter? What do they have?
Well, why would
Twitter probably runs itself, right?
Well, why would Peter Burns care who Elon Musk fires? He works for the SEC network. I mean, what the hell's the difference? Yeah, it's Elon Musk who is taking over.
They're saying that Twitter, there will be no more Twitter, is what they're saying. And
no, that's not true.
Okay, well, everybody that I follow here, like Ross Tucker says, the worst part about Twitter going down will not be able to complain about it on Twitter.
Well, I don't understand that. The guy paid he paid $54.20 a share. He paid $47 billion. And you're going to tell me that somebody who does that, regardless, with a bunch of investors involved, is going to shut down. These are just people who are not they don't know what's going on. I don't care who
Ross
they
Tucker's
are.
Ross is a Princeton grad.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to have to pay to be on Twitter. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, well, I mean, I think there's an $8 bill. You can pay $8 to get a blue check mark by your name. That's supposedly a big deal.
All right. Well, I figured you would know this kind of stuff. But obviously nobody. Well, no, I'm telling you what's going on. The fact is that the guy bought the platform. He's making changes, and some people, everybody in the world wants something free, right? Well, that's what they're saying here. Well, that's what they're. Yeah, he's gonna. You're gonna have to pay to be on Twitter, which I won't because I don't really care about Twitter. I get on there every now and then, but I do not care about.
Well, there you go. All right. I don't think you have to pay to get on it. I don't think that's the case. I think that's an option if you want certain things, but I don't think that's going to be a requirement.
Scott says he's asking us, who is the only Gators coach to shut out Vanderbilt 4 times?
Wow. Well, that
would have to be somebody way back in the day.
Yeah, it would be. Maybe it was Charlie Pell. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's Galen.
No, I want to say, didn't Charlie Pell lose to Vanderbilt? I think the last time we lost to Vanderbilt in Nashville was in the 80s. I don't know the answer to that.
But yeah, that's a good question. They stumped us, QB.
All right, this is from Daryl. He says, this is on the Titan MR text line. Shane, does Vanderbilt have the worst facilities now in the SEC as far as football? And what is your most memorable experience when you played against the Doors? I would say, yeah, they have the worst facilities. I was 2-0 or 3-0 against Vanderbilt, 2-0 there in Nashville. None of the games were ever close. They struggled. It's weird that we struggled with Vanderbilt during our national championship run, 95, 96, 97.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I just remember it's a weird place to play. And their AstroTurf back in those days was like concrete. It was miserable.
Yeah. Again, they don't care, never have, and that's why I hate them. But I'll tell you this: the school is a great school, I guess. But the thing is that the stadium is miserable. It's dumpy. It's old. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with all those millions of dollars.
Well, I think they put $100 million. They put $100 million, I think, last year into football. So,
yeah.
All right. Okay. Joseph says it was Ray Graves. Ray Graves shut them out.
There you go, Ray Graves. 60s.
Oh, I guess Oral was playing back then.
Yeah, 60s. So Ray Graves used to also be the athletic director after he was the coach here at Florida, and that was in the 60s. Yeah.
All right, so Joseph says Elon Musk is tired of people using Twitter as a media source but not giving out their sources. He wants it to be where if you post something, it better be true and factual.
Okay.
Right.
It's not going away. Okay, it's not going away. If Ross, whatever, and Peter don't want to be on it, that's
not what they're saying, JC. You weren't listening. That's not what they said. That's not what they said.
He said
you're giving out false Twitter information right there. That's not what they said. They just said it was going away.
It's going away. So what does that mean?
I don't know. We'll find out. So that's what I woke up to this morning.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
I don't know how they can keep anybody by stating everything being a fact because there's so much nonsense on there anyway. It's crazy. All right, JC, let's get to our Peachland Dental. Gator Nation's number one choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte, surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. All right, what games you got?
Georgia minus 23 at Kentucky, coming off an awful loss to the aforementioned Vanderbilt Commodores.
I will take Georgia to destroy them.
Okay. I will take the points, and I don't know why, but I don't know why it's not more than 23, but give me 23. Next game is Tennessee minus 21.5. Tennessee is on the road to Columbia. After this game, they will play those Vanderbilt Commodores. Then they're done. They'll be 11-1, but they're laying 21.5 at South Carolina. I think that's too many. I'm going to take the points in that one too.
Oh, dear Lord. I think Tennessee will score over 50 easily. Easily. South Carolina is one of the worst. I thought Texas A&M was bad until I saw South Carolina. I don't know how they keep this game even close.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, it's in Columbia. I know it doesn't matter.
I don't give a damn if they played in Egypt.
On the moon. Well, QB, I'm just looking at the numbers. I'm not.
I get it. But the problem is, I don't know if South Carolina can score. And I can promise you, Tennessee will score 50 minimum on them. Minimum.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Okay,
right,
Mississippi is laying. Yeah, I got South Carolina. Mississippi's laying 2.5 at Arkansas. Not sure what the story is with Jefferson, but without Jefferson, Arkansas, well, they are Vandy at that point. So they can't. I mean, they're terrible without Jefferson, and I can't believe that they couldn't find a backup quarterback who could throw a 10-yard pass. So they can't, and I'm going to take Mississippi on the road, laying the 2.5, because I'm not sure what that Arkansas quarterback situation is.
Well, I agree. It makes no sense. This makes absolutely zero sense to me. Arkansas has to win their last two games, I believe, or at least win one of their last two to get bowl eligible. They have Missouri next week. Arkansas is horrible. But this line should be like 9 or 10. So somebody knows quarterback situation.
Well, maybe Jefferson's going to play.
JC.
Well, I think they have a chance with Jefferson. Without him, they have 0.
Well,
they are terrible.
Well, so let me ask you this: do you think Ole Miss or LSU is a better team?
I think LSU is better than Ole Miss. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they played without KJ last week and they only lost by 3 and should have won the game. Quite honestly. I'm taking the Hogs.
Give me
thumbs up with that game.
You're going to take the Hogs? Okay.
Thumbs up with that game.
Hold on a minute. Okay. Let's see. We're moving. I'm being told I have to move now here at the airport. Hold on. Okay. So the next one would be Birmingham at Louisiana State. Birmingham is getting 15.5.
Who?
Birmingham.
UAB?
Yeah.
I didn't even know who they were
Alabama,
playing.
Birmingham.
Who are they playing?
They play LSU. They're playing LSU, QB. Keep up. Come on. 15
and they're
and a
getting
half.
how many?
Big game. They're getting 15.5 in Baton Rouge.
I will take the Blazers.
I will too. That team you just said who about? Yeah, you're done taking.
Well, I'm one that doesn't think LSU's a great team.
Well, okay. Well, they're gonna. Yeah, they won the West, so give them credit.
That's not beside the point. I've seen them in person.
I know.
I don't think they have a prayer against the Georgia Bulldogs.
No, I know you don't. Again, we're going to be left with a lousy playoff game. It's just the way it is. Let's see. I'll take UAB as well.
All right, real quick, I just got a text from Frank on the Titan Mark text line. He asked if I'll be analyzing the World Cup next week. Probably not. I know nothing about soccer and could care less. And unless we have some soccer expert that wants to chime in.
Kimmy, I got to tell you something funny. That the World Cup is in Doha, Qatar, which is a small little part of the Arabian Peninsula. Well, they are going to host the world in what is considered one of the biggest events the world holds. They have cut off beer sales 2 days before the tournament starts. Now that everybody's come in from Europe and and Australia and places like that, and they've cut off deer sales because it goes against, their religious. But somehow they got to host this. I think that was funny. All right, let's get back to the game.
Well, hang on a second. So they can normally have beer sales, but now that they're having the World Cup, they can't have beer sales?
No, in that country, that's not allowed.
Oh, that's why. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, all right. You got UAB, I got UAB. Here we go.
All right, TCU -2.5 against Baylor at Baylor.
Another one that makes no sense. Give me the Baylor Bears.
I'm going to take TCU. I'm lay the 2.5. Baylor is a team that really disappointed me last week.
Right,
I couldn't believe it.
But TCU should be favored by like 9 or 10 points, quite honestly.
Well, it's a road game in the conference, but yeah.
Well, Baylor's got like 4 losses.
True. Here's Bedlam. I don't know how many. Well, Bedlam is got 3 more games left, and Oklahoma State is getting 7.5. The game's in Norman, but Spencer Sanders should play, so I'm going to take Okie State.
I'll take the Cowboys too.
Yeah. Here's a good game in the Pac-12. Utah laying 2.5 against the Ducks at games in Eugene, and the Ducks are the underdog. I'm going to take the home team with the 2.5.
Yeah, I like Oregon too.
I don't understand that line. We've got well, that's it. I mean, that's you want to do Ohio State and Maryland?
No, not at all. I would like to do USC, UCLA though.
I missed that one. I'm sorry. Well, you know how getting to the airport is. What's the spread on that one, QB?
USC is a 2-point favorite at UCLA,
which is basically playing in the Rose Bowl. That's all that means. So give me USC. I think they're charging forward. I know their defense at Charbonnet could really shred that defense, but I can't see UCLA stopping USC. It'll be a scoring contest. Caleb Williams, I'll take him over DTR, and I'm just disappointed in UCLA. I mean, the game they played last week was a real letdown, and they lost. So I'm going to take Southern Cal to win the Pac-12 and get to the championship game. We're regular season anyway.
And who will they play? The winner of the Utah-Oregon game?
They will likely play the winner of the Utah-Oregon game. Yeah, both teams have 2 losses. So, but Utah only has 1 conference loss, but they'll lose to Oregon, and Oregon will win the tiebreaker and play Southern Cal. And that's, Southern Cal's only real shot to get in is to run the table and get some help. It would be great for Southern Cal if Tennessee were to slip up, but they're not. It would also be great for Southern Cal if TCU were to slip up. They're still undefeated, but they've got to play Baylor and then the Big 12 championship game. So there's still a lot of work to be done, even with 2 weeks to go.
All right, we got 3. I picked 3 NFL games. Did you pick any NFL games?
I did not.
Okay. All right. So we got the Buffalo Bills -8 against the Browns in Detroit. Who you got?
Yeah. I'm going to take the Bills. I think they bounce back. That's a lot of points to lay. Josh is not healthy, but they're good enough to beat Cleveland and Jacoby Brissett.
I got Buffalo as well. The Cowboys are laying 2 at Minnesota.
I like Minnesota. I don't get that line at all.
Well, I was thinking since you love the Cowboys, you're going to take the Cowboys. I like the Vikings too.
I'm going to that game on Thanksgiving Day against the Giants in 3, 4, or 5 days. It's the Steelers on Sunday and the Giants Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. But Dallas on the road, I don't think they're going. I think they're going to have trouble containing Minnesota's running game. You can run on Dallas, so I think that's what Minnesota will do at home.
Kansas City -5 at the Chargers.
Give me the Chiefs all day long.
All right, that doesn't make sense to me, but I'll take the Chargers at home. I was thinking about this the other day in the Super Bowl. There's really nobody worth a damn in the NFC. Think about it.
I can't disagree with that. Eagles, I mean, you don't think they're good?
I think they're okay. I just don't think they've played anybody. And I mean, they have the best record in football, but if you put them in the AFC right now, they'd have 3 or 4 losses.
Well, Hurts is having a great year at QB, and he is going to be in the running for the NFL MVP award.
Well, that has nothing to do with. I don't think they're a good team. When I would take the Chiefs.
You can't be a good team without a quarterback, QB.
No, I know that, but I would take the Chiefs. I would take the Bills.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of teams that I think are better than the Eagles.
Well, if you're saying the AFC is Yeah, I mean, if what you're saying really is the AFC is better than the NFC, I can't disagree with that at all. But Minnesota's only got one loss. And, other than that, there really isn't much to get excited about other than the Eagles. So.
You know what's crazy? I think the best team in the NFC has 4 losses, right? I think it's the 49ers.
They will be a problem. If they stay healthy, San Francisco will be a big problem for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question about that. All right, real quick before we let you go, Lauren says, seriously, with the politics, y'all, let's focus here. The Gator women's play tonight. I don't even know who the Gator women basketball team plays tonight. I'm terrible at keeping up with the women's sports because it doesn't come on my phone for some reason. That's the only reason. Maybe I can get them to get on Twitter where they pop up on my phone when they play.
What politics were we talking about?
I think he was joking.
Oh,
don't get your feelings hurt, JC.
Well, no, I'm just trying to remember. Did we talk about politics? I don't know. Look at Delta 757. I'm about to get on. Yeah, no, I think the basketball team, is a work in progress at UF, and Florida's going to go for 8 wins here in the next 10 days. That's a big deal.
All right, so they played Bethune-Cookman. All right, before we let you go, let's get to this day of sports. I want you to hear these. Brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Give Comfort Temp Heating and Air a call at 352-376-2366. It's got 2 of them. Had a listener text me one of them. First, in 1984, at the Grey Cup, which the Grey Cup is next week, by the way, JC. I know you love that.
Yeah.
It was played at the Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, where the Winnipeg Blue Bombers beat the Hamilton Ticats 47-14.
Wow.
That was interesting, wasn't it? Yeah. When I saw this, I thought they were talking about Edmonton winning because Edmonton is no longer the Eskimos. They're the Elks.
They're not?
They're the Edmonton Elks. Because I guess the Eskimos got pissed off. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, they just picked the year to get pissed off, so they got pissed off in this most recent time. Okay, whatever.
Well, you had to get rid of the Redskins. You got to get rid of the Eskimos.
Why doesn't anybody get pissed off at the Blue Bombers? They're the ones bombing everybody. I mean, why don't we get pissed off at that?
I agree. All right. So The other this day in sports, 32 years ago today, the Mighty Gators in Steve Spurrier's first year clinched the first place. They can't call them SEC champs, but they were first in the SEC, winning in Lexington 47-15. How about that?
Oh, yeah. I remember some skinny guy in a white uniform running like hell to the end zone, to the corner of the end zone, long hair coming out the back of his orange helmet. And I was sitting in P.J. O'Reilly's, the old bar in Gainesville on 13th Street. And there you go, off to the corner of the end zone. You remember that play?
Yeah, we hammered them that game. It was kind of cold up there. Them.
Yeah, it was. You had your little white sleeves on. Yeah, you had your white sleeves on. You were running like hell, but it was fun to watch. That was a big day. I remember very well.
All right, JC, have a great trip. You better bundle up, son. I'm telling you. Do you have enough winter wear to go to this game in Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Well, first stop is going to be the Rally House in downtown. I'm staying at an Airbnb downtown Pittsburgh, about 2 blocks from the stadium, and I'm going to go to Rally House and get me some Steeler gear, hood up, and I'm going to look like a local. So I'll report back on Monday.
Are you going to buy like a Franco Harris jersey? What are you buying?
No, I'm just going to buy a big Steeler hoodie and load up on the Iron City light.
Well, I would recommend layering. Long johns.
No question.
Tights. Layers, JC, because you're going to freeze your tail off.
Wait. I'll be all right. I'll let you know what it's all about Monday. I hope I make it back.
All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan Number Hotline. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll be joined by Kevin Brockway of the Gainesville Sun. Give us a little synopsis of what's going to happen in Tallahassee tomorrow with Gator basketball. You're watching and listening to Fido Matthews and more.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to carry. Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate, with premium brands like Bass Pro Shops, International Diamond Center, Regal Cinemas, Dave & Buster's, Nike, Wawa, the Gadget Guys, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, now selling Head Beer Coach American Lager in draft and in 16-ounce cans. You can get that at Spurrier's, Visors, Gator Games, and select stores across Gainesville. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. We're going to head to the Titan MR Hotline. We're joined by the Gainesville Sun's Kevin Brockway. Does a great job covering Gator sports. I thought he was going to be really busy, but he's probably not able to do it. Kevin, you're not going to do basketball and football. You're just heading up to Nashville, correct?
Yeah, just heading up to Nashville. But I was at Todd Golden's media availability yesterday.
Yeah, I made a mistake on here. Somebody corrected me. The basketball game is tonight. I forgot today was Friday, folks. That wouldn't be good. I'd miss the team playing. All right, so Kevin, correct me. Has Florida State won a game yet?
No, 0-3. 0-3.
Wow, that's unbelievable. It's not a talent issue. I know they have a kid that's suspended for some dumb violation that made no sense. Kind of give us a rundown of what you know about the semis in basketball.
Yeah, no, not only that, but they have 3 guys that are out, due to injury, 3 scholarship guys. So they're really down 4 scholarship guys, Shane. But Darren Green is their one guy who's had a pretty nice start to the season, 16.3 points per game, 4.0 rebounds. A bunch of athletes ranging from 6'4" to 6'8", typical Leonard Hamilton team in terms of, long defensive athletic teams. And yeah, my experience with Florida State teams like that is that they tend to get better as the season goes on. But early in the season, probably a little rusty coming out of the summer. So I think that's why they are where they are right now.
Tony says on Facebook Live, he talked to Kevin at the Jackson Airport on the way to TAMU. And he said he enjoyed talk. Where did it go? It went away. I can't find it now. This dang internet thing. But anyway, you got a lot of loyal followers out there, Kevin. All right. So how do you see this game playing out? What did Ty Golden talk about yesterday at his presser?
Well, mostly, guarding the 3-point line and perimeter defense in general. I mean, I asked him flat out about, whether this team needs a perimeter stopper. And he said, is that obvious, right? Because they just didn't really – the rotations were late. They didn't get on shooters. And they allowed, Michael Forrest to get hot. And Forrest really burned him and John L. Davis. They allowed basically 2 shooters to get hot and get comfortable. And, you can't do that in any game. 13 for 24. I thought some of their shot selection and some of the shots they put up, and they missed a lot of close twos. I thought that kind of bled into them getting caught in transition and bad situations. And not being able to mark up in floor balance. So I think that bled into it too. But if you're a good enough athlete, you can recover and you can find shooters. And that was really the biggest issue of the game. That was the ball game, 13 threes. I mean, anytime you give up 13 threes in a college basketball game, you're going to have a hard time to win.
Yeah, there's no question. So the Gators have only played a handful of games. You've seen them all. Who has stood out the most to you? Let's take Colin Castleton out. We know he's a player that was on the roster last year. But any of the newcomers, who's caught your eye?
Will Richard is the guy I think that's been the most consistent in terms of shooting, and he's their best 3-point shooter by far. So he's a weapon. I think he's a guy that, and I like the way he plays defense too. He might be their best perimeter defender. I'm not saying he's, a lockdown, a Bruce Bowen guy, but he does get out there and he does guard a little bit, and he's an athletic guy. I mean, he could project. I mean, his future, he could be a 3-and-D guy, which is, very valuable in basketball. A guy that can hit 3-pointers and defend the perimeter and defend the 3-point line, and that's become hugely valuable in professional basketball. And I think he's the one guy that, to me, coming out of Belmont, really complete guy, someone that is worth keeping an eye on.
We got a text here on the Titan Mark text line from Jimmy in Pensacola. He says, I'm a hoop junkie. Can you tell me why Stetson played a game this morning in Ireland?
I don't know, but that's very interesting. But I can tell you this about Stetson. Very interesting story. The guy that lit up Florida State, a kid by the name of Luke Brown, I covered him in Indiana. I did a big story about him and how he revived high school basketball. And he's one of those small town Indiana kids from Blackford High School, a really crafty scorer. And he had originally committed to Donnie Jones in Stetson. But got homesick. I think he went home. He went back to Ball State for a year, but didn't play much, and then went back to Stetson. And now he's doing a really nice job for Donnie. And he's one of the.
I believe they lost to Colorado the other day. Obviously, Kentucky, they've lost. What have you seen from the top tier teams in the SEC early on in the season?
I mean, Arkansas does look pretty good, but I think, Shane, it's kind of interesting. The MO of the SEC has always been a league that struggles in non-conference for whatever reason, and I think some of it has to do with it's a league with a lot of athletic guys and not as many skilled guys. And what happens is usually by February or March, you have a lot of teams that are playing their best basketball because the skill level catches up to the athleticism, and I think that's why. And a lot of younger teams, you look at Kentucky and what happened at Michigan State, and a lot of people are down on Cal right now in terms of being outcoached because they got a couple of dunks in some key situations at the end of regulation. But if Kentucky hits their free throws, they win that game outright. So I think it's just a case right now, Shane, of a lot of teams in the league that are still trying to find themselves, and Florida included. I think they're in a situation now with a new coach, and much like Billy Napier, you're talking about obviously a first-year coach in Todd Golden that's trying to implement his system and get guys on the same page, and we're seeing the ups and downs of that right now.
I got a text on the Titan Mark text line from an anonymous texter. Says, how many basic layups did we miss in the game, our last game?
Well,
I didn't get to see it. So
yeah, Shane, they chart, and it's right. And Todd Golden brought that up. They charted shots close to the rim, was 13 for 37. I mean, it was pretty bad, and you don't normally see that in a college basketball game. And some people were talking about whether it was an outlier. FSU had the 7-1 kid Golden, and I think he impacted some of Collins' shots. Because, Castleton scored 30 again, but he wasn't very efficient. He was 11 to 25. I mean, he was taking a lot of shots, missing some close to the rim. I thought there were a few, drives that weren't very good. I thought at the end of that game, Kyle Lofton, you're down 61-57. Kwesi Reeves is a hot hand, and you drive in the lane, and you just kind of throw something up with not much conviction or purpose. I thought that was a really bad shot. In that situation. I mean, you've got to get a better shot than that. Either play a 2-man game with Colin, or find Kwesi on the perimeter driving kick, who had just made 2 threes in a row. You've got to come up with something better than that. So I think some of it too is, like I said, the shot selection. You got to get great teams take great shots, and I think with Florida right now, a little too much free reign on some of the shots that they're putting up.
So when you look at this game tonight, how important is it for Florida? I mean, when you look at it, I don't have the record in front of me, but it would seem like FSU has gone on a run in recent memory. What is the last, say, 10 years, the record?
The last 10 years is probably around in the neighborhood of 3-7, but Florida hasn't won at the Tucker Center since 2012. So it's been 4 in a row there. And I remember the infamous Jacob Kurtz game, the own goal. I don't know if you remember that, where,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that started it back in 2014, where they've really struggled up there. But don't forget, Leonard Hamilton had a run of really good teams, kind of in the late decade and stuff. He had teams that went to the, Elite Eight, Sweet 16 consistently. I mean, his 2020 team, if not for COVID, probably would have gone to the Final Four. He had a bunch of pros on that team. But I think now, the talent is starting to, even out, I think, in terms of where they are. Because, Green is a nice player, but I think you would probably say that Colin Castleton will be the best player on the floor tonight. So that gives Florida a good chance, plus FSU being depleted due to the injuries and suspensions. I think Florida's got a good shot, but you got to come out with, the right mindset and, just play, a strong game on defense and a smart game on offense.
Yeah. Before we switch to football and let you go here, give me your thoughts. I have a prediction of who I think is going to win the national title in basketball. It's kind of a reach. Who does Kevin Brock? Because you're a basketball junkie. Who do you pick to win the national title?
I mean, North Carolina looks awfully tough.
I'll be damned. I mean, everybody's going to pick North Carolina, Kevin.
I know that's an easy cut because of Baycat and stuff and Caleb Love and everything. If you're looking for dark horse, I mean, Texas looked really good against Gonzaga, if you want to consider them. And Chris Beard is a guy who I think, is an excellent coach. Learned under Bob Knight at Texas Tech. It was pretty interesting because I thought Indiana would make a run at him a couple of years ago, and they didn't. They went with one of their own and Mike Woodson. There's been a lot of hype about the Hoosiers and the Big Ten, but I saw Michigan got blasted last night by Arizona State. So I don't know if there's going to be any team from the Big Ten that's really going to seriously challenge for the national title. But you can't go wrong with the Big 12. They've won the last 2, so maybe this is Texas's year.
All right, you're picking Texas, which that's a good pick. I'm going with the Creighton Blue Jays.
Yeah, very good. I like Shane. I like Creighton. I like what they're doing up there. I like Doug McDermott. I just don't know if they're going to be battle tested enough in the Big East because it's just
right.
it's a weird. Well, I mean, Villanova's won some national titles. Jay Wright's a heck of a coach. McDermott, is he on that level? Maybe, but I do like what Creighton is doing, and they've got great fans there. Because I used to go to Omaha for the College World Series, and they love their Blue Jays there, man. It's definitely a Blue Jays town.
Yep, and they got a Nemhart on that team. They got a Mike Miller's sons.
Mike Miller's, yeah. Yep.
So they're a very skilled basketball team. At Chris Storing Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Storing Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. All right, Kevin, before we get you out of here, get your thoughts on the Gators heading up to Nashville. You'll be there. I think Florida wins this game easily. I don't care what Vanderbilt did last week. Your thoughts on heading up to Nashville?
I think it might be a little tougher, because of the elements and because, I want to see what Anthony Richardson does in a cold weather game, right? And how he handles that and how this, and Vandy can stop the run a little bit. Florida's been, obviously they've done a great job against the run with the run the last 2 weeks, but they faced 2 pretty bad run defenses, and Vandy's got some linebackers a little better. But I do think Florida wins. I just don't know if it's going to be a blowout per se, but I think they might win a low scoring game.
Where does Kevin Brockway like to hang out in Nashville? What's your favorite spot?
Tootsie's is a great spot. Printer's Alley. I used to love doing karaoke at Lonnie's, the old Lonnie's. The new Lonnie's is, I think, around the corner from there. Broadway will be fun. It's just gonna be so cold tonight. I don't know if I'm staying by the hotel. I don't know if I'm gonna, maybe I'll Uber down. Maybe I won't. I've got my winter clothes from my Indiana days all packed up and stuff. So I'm sure I'll venture down there a little bit. If not Friday night, then Saturday night after the game.
What song do you sing? What's your go-to song?
Well, back in the day, I used to do Bon Jovi, Dead or Alive. That was like my thing.
Okay.
but I don't know if I could hit those notes anymore. Now it's more like Wonderwall and those kind of 90s songs, and I've kind of mellowed as I've gotten a little older, Shane.
So you don't sing any country music?
I've done a little bit. I've done, what's the Lone Star song? Maybe I'm Amazed. I can do that. I can do.
You're a slow song guy.
Yeah, I could do Garth the Dance. I can do that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Or, that's we would call it. But I'm not a huge country guy. Although when I used to go to Nashville, I used to get a lot that I looked like the lead singer from Rascal Flatts. I used to get that all the time.
You do, Gary. I can't remember his last name, but his first name is Gary. I see that. You got to spike your hair up more though, and wear crazy stuff.
Yeah, but I used to get that all the time in Nashville about 5-10 years ago. I don't know if I still do, but back in the day, that was the big thing.
Good stuff. Well, have a safe trip, my man. We'll see you up there tomorrow. Appreciate your time, Kevin.
All right, thank you.
Let everybody know how they can follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, Gator Sports and at Kevin Brockway G1. But who knows how much longer we'll have Twitter? That was a big debate last night. So
well, I brought that up with JC because JC's up to date on everything going on. I'm not. I heard about it, and he had no idea. So I don't know what's going to happen with Twitter. I'm lost. So
fingers crossed it'll survive, but we'll see.
Okay. All right, Kevin. Appreciate your time, my man.
All right. Thank you.
That's Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun. Join us on the Titan Number Hotline. Take our final time out. Come back and wrap up this Friday edition. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. You know, making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, a number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Over State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. I want to thank JC and Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun for joining us on the program. Cliff says, I'll be watching the game on TV, listening to Sean and Shane via Sync My Game. We appreciate that, Cliff. We really do. Sean's got he left yesterday to go to Tallahassee with the basketball team, called the game. I think it's a 7:00 game. So Then he's taking the school plane, he and Steve Egan, the producer, to Nashville. So I don't know what time he'll roll into the hotel bright and early to get up for the Vandy game. So should be interesting. He won't have much sleep for sure. We got a text on the Titan Tomorrow text line from Billy. Billy says, Shane, what are your thoughts on USC UCLA game? JC and I touched on that earlier. It's at the Rose Bowl, so it's a home game for UCLA. It would have been a huge game if UCLA would have won last week. I like USC, even though their defense is horrible. I just like Caleb Williams. I think he could be the difference in that game, and that they have to win that game to keep their title hopes. Well, yeah, their Pac-12 title hopes alive, but also maybe if getting into the 14 playoff. I think it's a long shot, but they have a chance. And as long as Lincoln Riley's out there, they're going to be in the mix year in and year out. Again, tonight, Gator basketball. I don't know what time that game is. I was going to look on here real quick to let our listeners know. I want to say it's a 7:00 game in Tally. For some reason, I can't find it. Oh, well, somebody will let me know. Yeah, if you know what time it's at 8:00, Cliff says. Thank you, Cliff. Appreciate that. I could not find it on my phone for some reason. Yeah, here it is. 8:00. And it is on the ACC network. So if you want to watch the game tonight, ACC network, the Gators are favored by 7 over the Semis in Tallahassee. Tomorrow, it's a noon kickoff for everybody in the Eastern time zone. And it's going to be a chilly day in Nashville. It's going to be beautiful, though. It's probably going to be about 45 at kickoff, sunny. And I look for the Gators to play well for sure. All right, I think I have one more text before we get out of here. Where did it go? Tommy in Savannah. He asks, hey, Shane, is there an over-under for Oh Lords this week? I guess he's referring to me in the press box calling the game when I see stuff developing before it happens. I'm trying to take that away. I'm not supposed to speak until the play is over, till Sean calls the play, and then I can chime in, but sometimes it just comes out. Like last week on the touchdown throw to Ricky Pearsall, as it was in midair, I went, whoa, because I could see him leaping as the ball was coming. And boy, he made a phenomenal catch on a good throw from Anthony. So I think the Gators play well tomorrow, build off the momentum they've had for the last couple of games. I think the defense will continue to play the way they are playing. Vanderbilt causes no issues when it comes to the passing game, 0. So should be a good one. Have a great weekend, folks. We'll be back on Monday to recap everything. Hopefully the Gators get a victory tonight and tomorrow, and the women's team wins tonight as well. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday. Take care.